Welcome back to Public Affairs on Page. We're highlighting organ donation, and you've already heard from a donor family, two individuals whose lives were changed by the gift of life. But did you know that there are currently over 110,000 people in this country waiting for an organ transplant? In Georgia alone, that number is nearly 5,200. Last year in this country, just over 36,000 people received organs. Here in Georgia, nearly 1,000 people were organ recipients. One organ donor can save up to 8 lives. Well, so far this year, 183 people in Georgia have received organ transplants. And joining me now to talk a little bit about that, Rebecca Mashiri from the Georgia Transplant Foundation and Bobby Howard with LifeLink of Georgia, who actually received a kidney transplant and now spreads the important message of organ donation. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us to talk about this. Explain what the Georgia Transplant Foundation actually does, Rebecca.
Sure. We provide financial, educational, and emotional assistance for organ transplant candidates, recipients, living donors, and their families.
Because this could be very expensive.
Absolutely. The medication costs last forever. Once you get a transplant, many people don't know this, but transplant recipients take medications for the rest of their lives. And those medications can cost thousands of dollars a year. So we help people learn how to fundraise and fundraise pre-transplant, and we match those funds up to $10,000 that they can later use for insurance premiums and medications for all of the follow-up they'll have the rest of their lives.
So good way, good person, good organization to donate to
Yes.
for folks at home. And Bobby, talk to us about how you got involved.
Well, I got involved with LifeLink of Georgia after receiving my kidney transplant. In October will be 25 years that I've had my transplant. And LifeLink is the organization that recovers all the organs and tissues for transplants here in the state of Georgia. So we strongly encourage through our educational programs that people really get the information, understand it, and then register to become an organ and tissue donor so we can save more lives here in the state of Georgia.
You and I chatted about this. I thought it was interesting when I did do a story on organ donation. The whole process is just so well orchestrated. You get a call. I think I waited for a call. We got on a helicopter. We went to get the organ and took it to the hospital where the transplant was going to happen. It happens in a matter of minutes. You're a big part of that as well, Rebecca.
Right, yes. So we really help people a lot around the time of transplant. Many people, you know, the state of Georgia is large, and people might be staying in Atlanta for months around the time of their transplant, even though they're really from Savannah or Valdosta.
Or Albany.
Right, Albany. So we assist a lot with housing and travel expenses around the transplant too.
And then when it is that time, you all are the big organization that helps make it happen.
Yes, we do. You know, we work with all the hospitals here in the state, and then we work very closely with them, and we have relationships with all medical organizations. So when we get that call and we work with those families, and when that time comes and those families say yes, it's truly a blessing to those who are waiting. And then from the family side, a lot of families feel this as a way of healing, that they know that their loved one in their passing, that they're giving life to someone else. So they truly are living on.
We talked about 8. You can help 8 different organs. What organs are we talking about?
When you're talking about the 8 organs, you're looking at the heart, lung, liver, kidneys, pancreas, and then small intestines that can be transplanted into waiting patients.
Amazing. And you also talk about, we hear that families want to know sometimes who received the organ, where their organ went. How can that happen?
Well, normally when that process happens, there's different ways that you go about that. And from the recipient side, those letters can be written back to the transplant centers, which then gives those back to LifeLink and work with our family care people there. Then it goes back to the donor families and all those. There's a mechanism, there's a way to make that real smooth and real safe, because you don't want things happening that are not in the right timing. So there is a process, but that is a process that does take place, and it's just a joyous occasion when you see the donor families and they know that their loved ones' organs have gone to someone else, and that family, and they can have that opportunity to meet. It's just a joyous occasion. It's just a wonderful sight to see.
And Rebecca, we talk about the financial, but there's a lot of emotional support that you offer as well that's needed.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the programs that we offer is the Mentor Project, and that's where we train people who've been through a transplant to be ready and able to talk to people who are going through the process, because many times people are scared and don't know what to expect. And even though I can talk to them I haven't lived through it. So it's so impactful to be able to match them with somebody who has lived through the process and they're thriving afterwards. So we're able to match those people together.
I think David Manuel, a friend of mine, has actually been a big part of mentoring and giving back.
Yes, David is a wonderful guy. Actually, David and I are part of 100 Black Men Together. We do a lot of things together. David does his walk to benefit fathers, but it also benefits organ and tissue donation as well. So he's been a wonderful, wonderful person to have on our team.
Oh, Bobby, Rebecca, thank you so much for helping us out. And hopefully people will know now how they can get involved with you. Well, coming up on Public Affairs on Peach, we're going to switch gears now and talk about credit card myths. How do you know your rights when it comes to dealing with collection agencies? We'll be right back.